Hi, welcome back to the CX Weekly Update. I'm Dennis Wakabayashi. Today we're talking about customer-centric foundations and customer-centric operations. The fact is we're usually way too busy untangling internal teams and technology that we forget about the basics. And a good CX foundation is crucial to short-term success. So today we're going to break down the key elements of success for customer-centric cultures and the new ways that people are solving CX and their operational strategies. In addition, I've invited a couple of guests to help us all think more deeply about building customer-centric cultures and adapt to the new technologies that are reshaping 2023 as we know it in terms of journey mapping and KPIs. But first, story time. I had an opportunity to interview a guy named Joshua Tai, a tremendous leader for customer-centric culture, probably one of the best. And here's why I think so. One of the many reasons I think so. When I spoke to him about the work he does, I said, hey, where should a leader invest first in terms of CX? And he said, the good news is where every leader should invest first doesn't cost any money. It's teamwork. I think the moral to that story is teamwork is free. Teamwork is where your culture lives. So it's a great place to start with your foundations. And with that said, here are the top 3 things that most customer culture leaders are thinking about. Number 1, leadership commitment. And what I mean by that is it all starts at the top. Leaders who can communicate a customer-centric vision and provide teams throughout the organization with opportunities to collaborate, break down silos faster, and reap better benefits. Number 2, they're thinking about fostering empathy and understanding by making sure employees really understand what customers need and want through feedback loops like surveys and sharing customer stories internally. And finally, powering the people. When we give employees the tools and training and resources they need, they tend to go the extra mile for customers. But probably more importantly, we have to recognize and reward people when they demonstrate customer-centric behaviors. And to dive deeper into this topic, we have a special guest, Marcia Donziger. Marcia has over 15 years of leadership management experience. She was the recipient of the 2023 Outstanding Leader in Healthcare Award from Health 2.0. And she's the creator of Culture Cares, a framework that helps brands find their way and accelerate customer centricity within their organizations. It's so nice to have you here today, Marcia.
Thank you, Dennis. I'm happy to be here.
Can you tell us about the latest trends in customer-centric business transformation?
Yeah, I think that the biggest trends that I'm seeing right now is that companies are looking to create a customer-centric business by creating an employee-centric culture. And what does that mean? That means treating your own employees as you would want them to treat your customers. It's an inside-out approach. There's so much out of our control right now with the external factors of recession or inflation and all the economic pressures that companies are feeling. What we can really control is how we treat our people. And then when we treat our people well, it will just outflow and expand to your customers.
Can you take that one step deeper and tell us what it takes to build a customer-centric culture?
Yes, absolutely. So if you want to expand on your customer service business transformation, I recommend you start from the inside out. Look at the values that are posted on your wall. Say, are we treating our employees this way to create a culture that does this on a daily basis? And you will see your customer service reps, your salespeople articulating those values and how they trust your customers. It's got to synchronize together. You can't treat your employees one way and expect them to treat your customers another way.
And Marcia, what kind of results are companies seeing when they implement customer-centric thinking into their corporate culture?
Sure. So most customer experience organizations are looking at their net promoter score, right? Which is, would you recommend that a friend or family member buy your service or product? We'll take that, bring it again to the inside and measure your employee promoter score. That's called your EPS. And so when I was working with an organization last year, we were able to take an employee's promoter score, meaning would you recommend this as a great place to work to a friend or family member? We took it from 31% to 76% in the span of a year. Spoken in another way, your employees a third of the time initially would have said, yeah, this is a great place to work. You should come here. Versus a year later, 3 out of 4 employees would say that this is a great place to work. And how do you build a customer-centric brand? Is you have the top talent, you have the best employees that are creating relationships with your customers. And those are the people that are going to stay within organizations where they love to work.
Now let's shift gears and talk about customer experience operations, because there is a lot of technological change happening in this area in 2023. But before we go into the tech, let's talk about the basics. Here are the top 3 things on the minds of the best CX operators. Number 1, data-driven insights. You need to get the data, analyze it, and use it to improve customer experiences. And after that, you'll need to focus on seamless experiences. This means understanding the customer journey at scale and communicating a unified view of the customer to your entire organization. And finally, you'll want to continuously improve and adapt. And that means monitoring feedback, tracking trends, and here's the most important part, being open to change. And while that's a big job, there are tremendous advancements happening in this area in 2023. And if we're being honest, as of last year, there was only one real tool to help us operationalize CX, and that was Semantica. If you don't know what Semantica is, it's a journey mapping platform that is known for connecting voice of customer data directly into your journey map. But now, in 2023, there seems to be an emerging set of tools that help you connect the journey and KPIs. For instance, in Q1 of this year, B-Addy introduced a new solution on the media and content side of CX with a product that maps customer journey and media metrics to create a complete picture across all stages of the experience. And now the latest entrant into the KPI journey map landscape is QuestionPro. QuestionPro has a new solution that combines customer research and journey mapping to provide an entirely new perspective for leaders in charge of operationalizing CX. And I think what's most important about this latest wave of solutions is the fact that we're finally seeing journey maps get off the wall and out of post-it jail and becoming the living documents that unite teams and provide the operational visibility that we've all been waiting for. With that said, let's welcome Ken Peterson to talk more about these technologies and give us some insights about operationalizing CX. Hello, Ken. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks. It's great to be here, Dennis.
What's going on in the world of operational CX?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously you've seen some of the things, everyone talks about AI, but some of the things that we've seen happening that really impact the operational side of things is the combination of bringing together the journey maps as well as the measurement side of the customer experience practice. It really sort of brings them together and helps break down operational silos that often occur within the organizations.
It's great to see the technology catching up to the strategy of CX. Can you explain how these technologies work?
At its core, customer journey mapping has always sort of sat with one group in the organization, and then the individual touch points, the measurement touch points, usually sat in their individual groups. So if you had call center satisfaction, it was measured from the call center and it was operated by the call center. And then if you had an in-store satisfaction, it was measured in the store and managed by operations. And then usually website, things like that. So really what the intent is to bring them all together and really look at the customer holistically, because sometimes changes you make in one area actually impact the entire organization. So, I mean, it's always one of those, hey, let's turn this light switch on, and the light switch outside is turning off kind of thing. And that's what's happening with a lot of organizations is each of these individual silos is making changes to help themselves, but not looking at the bigger picture. So by pulling together that journey map and then plugging in the individual touch points and understanding that as you research and then you refine from that research, that those changes you make aren't negatively impacting other areas of the organization. And then further, you can actually look at those ones where, hey, a little change actually benefits across the organization and enhance the investments in those kinds of research and in improving those touch points, because it helps everyone across the entire organization improve the customer experience.
Wow, that's interesting. So when a company adopts this kind of technology, what happens within their business?
Yeah, we're working with a healthcare company. They have a lot of stakeholders to answer to. They have to answer to the patient. They have to answer to insurance companies. They have to answer to doctors. So they really had this complex journey map that they had to pull together and be certain that they met the needs of each of the constituents within that journey map. And that can be complicated because what patients want and what doctors want are usually two different things. So by being able to pull that together, we understood the needs and wants of each and how that workflow worked, from going from the doctor to referral to radiology, then going back and billing the insurance, getting the results back to the doctor. But once we had all that map put together, we were able to decide what touch points we needed to measure. And of course, one of the key touch points is after the service, after they've had the exam at the radiology clinic, and being able to say, okay, how did we do? And that customer can not only say, this is how my experience was, which, healthcare in general can be somewhat of a traumatizing negative experience to begin with, but also to be able to go in there and say, do you understand what happens next? And that's probably one of the biggest confusions in healthcare. And it's something that they discovered because of this journey map, that going from the doctor to get the radiology, then back to the doctor, was a confusing step. And so they put that measurement touch point in place to not only just understand and measure it and try to improve it, but also put triggers in place that if any of their patients even showed a hesitation that they knew what the next steps were, they're getting on the phone and calling them right away. It's triggering an alert saying, let's call this customer. Let's make sure they understand the next steps. So by the time they get back to the doctor is hearing about how great this radiology company is in being able to refer to them. So doctors feel confident referring them to them. The insurance companies, when they do their independent measurement, are happy with the results that they're getting. So it's really improved their business in addition to their customer satisfaction.
Ken, what advice do you have for business leaders looking to operationalize CX in 2023?
I think first and foremost is it's pretty simple to map that customer journey across the entire organization. And oftentimes it gets forgotten that, customers know that the customer journey starts before they become a customer. So understand how you're talking to customers, the promises you're making, how you're delivering, and then the follow-up for it. There are some organizations that are really great at both pre and post follow-ups for customers. And that's really where it starts, is start understanding that entire journey.
All right, so there you have it. I think the important message here is that the foundation of CX, from culture to operations, is crucial, and you know that. So that's it for today's show. Before we wrap up, I want to let you know that next week I'll be in San Diego covering the Reuters Customer Service and Experience Conference. If you're in San Diego, stop by the show, tell me your stories. Let's share your stories with the wider CX community. Until then, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next week.